All right, and the lottery, not lottery, but when the wheel was spun, the Nigerians were the ones who emerged on the right-hand side. So South Africa are falling into the large pit of teams who win one shootout in a competition and go on to miss the second. They follow the likes of the Netherlands in 2014 and many other countries. Only two teams I can think of in recent history have broken that myth. Italy in the 2020 Euros and then Argentina on their way to winning the 2022 World Cup. They won two shootouts.
Yeah, against the Netherlands,
and
then France.
And then France in the final. Guys, we'll get into the shootouts and the drama because I love shootouts and the drama. But just thoughts on the 120-minute encounter. It was quite engaging from start to finish.
It was a very good game. South Africa in the first half were dominant. I mean, Nigeria had a lot of the ball at some point, but if you talk of the team that created the most chances or the clearest of chances to win the game, it was South Africa. We've done an analysis here of South Africa a lot more times, and the fact that they lacked strikers. They're able to work the ball to a certain point, and their naivety show the moment they get to up front. They get up front to execute a shot or get the ball at the back of the net. So I wasn't so surprised. I was watching I think the first half analysis, and they were saying that we hope it doesn't become like the South Africa Mali game where they dominated and failed to score and then had Mali coming back to win that game. And clearly it was like that. Now in the second half, Nigeria felt that, okay, you've pained us. Let's find a way out. That was when they began to, feed Victor Osimhen more of the ball. Now, he took the game by himself, decided to make a moment out of it, and that was what led. Because at the point where he picked the ball from, and how he was able to maneuver himself to get into the box, I mean, that's genius stuff. That's a player who sees himself as the star man for the team, to be able to create moment where there isn't any, and that's how the game went. Now, the craziest moment came when Nigeria felt that they had gotten the second goal, forgetting that something had happened in the box of South Africa, of Nigeria, where a player had been clipped down, and that moment really changed the game. That was how VAR came in to change the game. So South Africa, patient in their build-up, trying to not rush it, not doing a lot more things, just building the ball up onto the into the Nigerian half, but lacking evidence. Mahopa really cost them in that game. Had a lot more chances, had many opportunities to be able to put the game to bed, but decided, not to take any of these chances. And that's the game of football. You can create these chances. You can be able to build up to that point, but the moment of truth comes when you're able to, execute these actions, and that's what.
And I like the point you made, and I think that more quality up front, and
that's the
probably the story is different.
I mean, we've known it. We've discussed it here. That South Africa's problem has been up front.
The finishing.
Very, very
I guess they need to do a lot more and get better strikers from now, create better strikers in the PSL. So for Nigeria, what a performance. We've seen everybody, everybody I have on the show, or the people I speak to, people say we see different sides of Nigeria. Did they take us into a new dimension yesterday?
Yes, absolutely. This is when everything is not working for them. Because yesterday I was asking, Nigeria, una play, what's up? What's happening? Because first half, they were not themselves. I think South Africa dominated, and they were mostly on the back foot. But it just yet again shows the will and determination, because apparently when they went into the halftime, I think the team talk was very fiery. You are better than them, but nothing seems to be working. And there's one moment we are not even talking about. That's Ademola Lookman had a 1v1, decided to go around the goalkeeper. So as evidence, Makupa was not showing evidence for why he is a striker. Ademola Lookman was also missing. And Ademola Lookman is someone who has been highlighted. But yet again, that's what helps Nigeria is, yes, Osimhen might not be scoring, but he's coming up with off-the-ball movements and off-the-ball play, which shows that really this guy is a very good striker. Making moments out of nothing, because Mvala didn't need to hack him down. He was going nowhere. But it's just the fear and how he would put himself in. He did the same thing against Cote d'Ivoire. Created a penalty out of nothing. Yes, some see it as soft, but puts himself between the defender and the ball, creates that penalty. And these are the things you need going, because they had Nigeria had the better play most of the second half. They just didn't have that clear-cut chance, and he made something out of nothing. So one would think that once the pendulum has swifted back to Nigeria, they'll be able to maintain it. And they were maintaining, because if not for the VAR, they would have been 2 goals up.
No.
And I've never watched a tournament where there has been such a clean officiating like that before. Beautiful, beautiful officiating, because you go back to the 120 minutes and Murphy is hacked down, and the question is it in the box? Is it not in the box? Like, what's happening? And I don't know, but this AFCON should be a study for English referees, Spanish referees, people who use VAR, that it's never about the machine, it's about who utilizes the machine. And VAR was used very well. But back to Nigeria, one thing I realized about them yesterday is that sometimes we as West Africans like to look down on ourselves like we are just there for the vibes. But Nigeria proved to us that, yes, penalties are not a lottery. They did their research. Research throughout, figuring their players, and they took the opportunities when the momentum, because South Africa could have killed that game. And South Africa had the momentum. It was the ability to tell themselves that, yes, maybe the momentum is on South Africa's side, but we are still not out of this game. And Nigeria know they chop last, so you have to give them their props. You have to give them their props. They've been outstanding throughout. I think they've been the only team that has been so consistent ever since their second game, which they were tipped to lose against Cote d'Ivoire. After winning that game, they've been consistent throughout their play, and they deserve their props. And against South Africa yesterday, they showed different sides. They showed sides where how good they are off the ball, how good they are on the ball. They showed individual brilliance. They showed team brilliance. So they showed research. So Amadou Pinnick, as the Nigerian FA, will be happy. He doesn't need to go make promises anywhere that he wants to win the World Cup and AFCON. So, yeah, I think Nigeria, they were very good yesterday.
Interesting. So for Nigeria, they're about to play their 7th game. They've conceded only 2
goals. Yes.
They've kept what,
4 clean sheets.
4 clean sheets. That's wonderful. Very wonderful for a team that is very top heavy to navigate a competition where they don't need more than a goal to actually win. Cameroon was the only time they needed more than a goal, I believe, right? Yeah. So it's interesting. Look, Jose Peseiro will have his critics, but I think he's made a strong argument and has told everybody that in tournament football, we don't have to go and dazzle everybody. We just have to play well, find a way of doing it. And he's done that. 7 games. He's going to play the 7th game. I'm still very blown away by the profile of the team, but this very workman-like, almost professional performance.
I'm not surprised, actually. Even in the first game where they played 4 at the back, they created a lot of chances. They were very solid at the back. Mwabali barely made a save, bar the ball that went into the net. They felt that, okay, we drew that game. Let's be efficient. Let's try something else. So he went 3 at the back: Sam Ajayi, Calvin Bassey, Troost-Ekong, and then Sanusi, and then Ola Aina. Found a way to incorporate Iwobi and Onyenka in there. Then went with his attack. He has a way of building up. Now, what fascinates me is how they attack. I mean, you see Moses Simon, and then forgotten the guy who plays on the right, Ademola Lookman, and then Victor Osimhen. And it's how they interchange in between the game. It's very difficult. Yes, Simon predominantly on the right, but it's between Osimhen and then Lookman, how they move in between. At some point, look at the goal that we analyzed the other time against Angola. Yeah. Where did Lookman come from? Made a run
from the right
after Osimhen had dragged. I mean, they've been showing the dynamism of their play as the tournament progresses. And Peseiro appears to me like the Jose we know. He takes his opponent, analyze his opponent, and then fashion out a game plan. So you don't see Nigeria playing the same or using the same approach. They are always looking at the opposition that they are playing and then mapping out and that's how you do in tournament football. You don't go and
tournament football is max 7 games.
Absolutely.
Maximum 7 games.
So you don't go in and make a decision that, okay, I am a possessive whatever. So if it works for you, as it did for Spain in the World Cup some time back, fine. But coaches also have to.
But even that, Spain had to do different things in different games.
That's it. So he's been mapping out strategies for every game that he's been playing, and that's something that has worked for him. So I'm not so surprised. As you see, he realized what the South Africans were. They possess a lot. They are very patient in build-up, and the South African does that excellently. I mean, even under pressure, how they're able to weave their way out.
Yeah, it's your typical South African.
It was beautiful. I mean, you could see that. But Peseiro was like, just stay calm. The ball will come. We will have our moment. When we have our moment, we will know what to do. And there were points in the game where Nigeria could have won the game. Bar that penalty that came that switched everything, they could have won the game 2-0, done their work efficiently. I mean, that's how tournament football goes. And Peseiro has been fantastic so far with
Interesting.
that.
I'd love to see what the Nigerians are saying about Jose Peseiro now, a man they absolutely lambasted before the competition. That's Edwin Kwakofi still here. Edwin, you're on the touch. Your thoughts on this? I don't know whether, did you expect the game to play out this way?
Yes, large points in the game played out exactly how I thought they would. I felt that South Africa were more comfortable in possession. And when I saw the way Nigeria lined up right at the start of the game, it showed me that they had actually thought about what South Africa were going to offer. But before the game, you spoke to a South African journalist who pointed out that Nigeria have been very, very vulnerable to pacey attacking players like Peseiro offered yesterday. So anytime he ran beyond the Nigerian defense, he was getting through. There was no one keeping an eye on him. So there were points where Makopa in the first half, especially in the first half, was playing behind Peseiro. So if the long ball comes through, they were aiming for him most of the time. He would head it on or he'd control it. Sometimes it went straight through to Peseiro. It was causing Nigeria a lot of problems in game. But eventually in the second half, a few of the changes helped. They managed to keep things tight at the back and started feeding Osimhen more to his feet. Previously, I think he spent too much time inside the box and they were aiming for him. All right, he's tough to deal with in the air. He's very good aerially, but when he has two centre backs to deal with, it's a tough ask for anyone. Even then, he was getting his head on the ball, creating chances, and he got frustrated at a point for not taking those chances that usually he would have. And sometimes frustration helps, and as we'll see in these two clips, before we get to the penalty shootout, the first one is the move that leads to the penalty for Nigeria.
Yes.
So Osimhen has the ball. And over here, there should be... No, Osimhen gets the ball eventually. And when he does, over here, he goes back. His touch takes him back. And right here, there should be no danger at all for South Africa. In this position, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 players to Nigeria's 1, 2, 3, 4. 7-4. There's no danger right here. And I talk about Osimhen's frustration. He missed a few chances. Now he wants to prove that he wants to push Nigeria forward. He wants to do a lot of the things. So he wants to keep the ball and create something. That is why he stays on the ball. He holds it. That was a poor decision, by the way, for Osimhen to take on the ball and not release it to his teammates. He could have passed it back to his teammates right here, passed it even further back just to relieve pressure because there was nothing he could do. But then this is Osimhen we're talking about, a proper striker who can lead any line for any country. So he holds on to the ball and he's under so much pressure. What you do here as a defender, you force him outside. You don't let him enter the box. And even more than that, you don't foul him while he's in the box. You don't attempt to challenge him because there's no danger right here. Even his teammates are reluctant to go forward because they realize he is in a cul-de-sac. There's nowhere for him to go. So the tackle from Imvala, who is coming out of the box was very unnecessary. He's completely at fault for this move, and clear penalty. There's no. If you concede a penalty in this area, in the center of the box, when you know the striker might cause a few problems, I can understand it. When you concede a penalty on the outside, the edges of the box, there's no excuse for it. There's no talking your way out of that. And Mvala almost cost South Africa in this situation, conceded a penalty, which, of course, Troost-Ekong took. On the other side, we go to the penalty that South Africa got.
Talk about Osimhen. If you ask me, I think that sequence it's like a reminder to watchers of the competition that Osimhen has a lot to his game. You know, because we've seen a lot of hold the ball up, that kind of thing. But to actually play yourself into almost a very hopeless situation and decide that, you know what, I'm running at the back line. Who cares whatever happens? If I'm fouled, I'm fouled. If they take it, they take it. But just the bravery to even do it and force South Africa into a very bad decision, I think is brilliant centre forward play. And if you're a young striker and you're watching this, just take note that sometimes, not all the time, sometimes a little bravery is good. Just get the ball, run, try and get your way, because somebody will panic. Just because you are Osimhen, it forces Mvala to make a decision. That's Osimhen. What if he takes a shot? What if I don't stop him? And then you stretch, commit a foul. That's it. One goal could have killed it. Because if this happens in the 93rd minute, it's game over. Yeah. You are done for. Edwin, you wanted to highlight the South African. And I think this has been my favorite piece of refereeing in the entire competition. I love this part so much.
It's a wonderful piece of refereeing, not crumbling under pressure and awarding the penalty when it should have been awarded. But we look at the move from here. Over here we have Peseiro. And he is in behind two Nigerian defenders who are facing the ball. These two Nigerian defenders.
Yes.
The pass has been made, but there's absolutely no way it should be getting to Peseiro because these two defenders are approaching the ball. They are right in front of Peseiro. If they hurry, they get to the ball before Peseiro. But this is the industry of the forwards. We've already seen Victor Osimhen in the Nigeria clip. Peseiro has been that for South Africa at this tournament. So he gets in between the two defenders because he anticipates. He anticipates, gets in between the two defenders, and gets a touch on the ball before he is kicked by the Nigerian defender. That is a defender who is on his heels and not on his toes. A defender who is reactionary and not who reacts to stuff. He doesn't anticipate things. Of course, Nigeria go on the attack. A very good counter-attack, by the way. Good pass on the outside to Lookman. And then he puts it in the box for Osimhen to tap it. There was joy for the Nigerians. I could see them celebrating in the stadium, thinking they had finally sealed.
Let me ask the guys here. How many of us once suspected that it might be looked at?
I had no clue.
I saw it, but I thought it was a foul, not a penalty.
Okay, you thought maybe it was like a free kick.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so I immediately, and I thought maybe you see sometimes the sequence of play, if there are 2, 3, 4 sequence of play, it doesn't get looked at. But immediately the camera panned out. I just felt like maybe we have something here, but I thought it was a foul. Okay. A penalty, I didn't see a penalty coming. So I thought it would have been 1-0. It would have been chopped off for 1-0. But 1-1, I didn't see that coming.
I see. Kwame, you're saying you missed it completely.
I missed it completely. I thought, I was like, what was the referee going to look at? I felt so confused until it was the replay came. Oh, in fact, I thought when they started, deliberating, I had not seen the replay for the goal, so I thought they were going to look for an offside with the build up to the goal to just get the goal away. Don't know. Something had happened at the far end.
When the sequence was developing, I saw it. Mm-hmm. My first instinct was, that looks like a penalty. Mm-hmm. But okay, maybe it's a free kick.
Maybe it's a free kick.
You know, and then, so as soon as I saw it again, I said, and it's the fact that immediately you see it,
You know
You
that.
know that's
And the
it.
referee takes the same
Take-
because I was like, hey, don't go and do anything. Don't go and take a foul. It's a penalty.
But one thing that I noticed a lot from the South Africans was how they were able to pass in between the lines.
Yeah.
And that's evidence of one of those situations there. Because see where Peseiro was. And go and watch the game again. They were just passing through
They
the
were
lines.
very good. They were
just
very
passing
good
through
between the lines.
But you know, the second half, the Nigerians noticed that. And that was when they block holes. So anytime someone is able to pass the ball through the lines for the first time, he checks back. And there are lots of men behind. So all they need to do is to send the ball back to the midfield. They have to go and recycle play all over again. And that's how the Nigerians
I
were able
feel
to
South Africa have played very good football in this tournament.
Okay.
And with Mokoena, he's been
Teboho
one of the.
Mokoena.
I just feel like if they had a prolific striker, I think.
They
So,
would
and this when you look at Foster Lau, was it
Yeah.
really worth it staying at Burnley than playing for your? Because if they had a Foster Lau, maybe some of the chances evidence Makopa was not Makopaing, he would probably be doing better at it because they just lack that. And Peseiro needs
had a very
veteran.
disappointing
He
competition.
needs to be lashed. A veteran of that
That's
caliber.
true. Anyway, let's get back to you.
Yeah, so just wanted to point out, in case anyone was having any doubts whether there was a touch on the ball by the Nigerian player, you can clearly see Peseiro gets a touch on the ball first and then his heel is clipped. So there's no doubt about this penalty at all.